First off, rest in peace, neighborhood Nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante Davis.
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, Faith Overseas.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
What up, what up, what up? We are back again with another episode of the 3-Man Weave podcast. I am AJ. And
are you sure?
I think so. I think so. Who am I joined with today on this lovely, lovely evening?
Y'all already know who it is. Your boy Hill. Hill gonna heal regardless, baby. Let's get to it.
All right. So this is another episode of 3-Man Weave podcast. We are at episode 270.
You sure?
I'm not sure. I'm asking you.
I've been lost count the last few joints.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, I'm going to just say 271, maybe. And we may edit this out in post-production. We're not. But this episode 200 something, and we getting close to 300. That's all you need to know. We close to episode 300, and we moving through these mother things. You feel me?
That's a fact.
And if you would like to find us anywhere, Hill will tell you where you can do so.
You catch us on all major podcast platforms. 3-Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3-Man Weave _. You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com.
Let's get to it real quick. I'm gonna ask you a question really quick.
All right.
Is it hate that the NBA players voted Tyrese Haliburton the most overrated player in the NBA? Is that hate?
Yeah, it's hate. It's not all the way hate though, because because I'm going to ask you later, like, who would you think is the most overrated player? But somebody that once he got to Indiana really showed off his full skill set. Like, was a throwback, if you quintessential point guard type of situation, to how he was getting going. And before his injury, like the injury last year when he slipped and it was nasty, we thought it was going to be ugly. Eventually came back. They never really was quite that feeling that they had before their injury was never quite the same. Now they went on to the playoffs. They ended up winning the series the last year again. Ended up getting to the playoffs again. Ended up winning again. And he also had another game winner after they tried to chant overrated during the game. So the reason why I think he got that title is because he does have an annoying ass personality. So, the hate, it shined on that one. Like when it came to voting, they were like, bro, we don't really like this dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But so, like, I went and just kind of looked back, kind of like once he was pretty much solidified in Indiana. And so we're looking at the 2022-2023 season, his first season. So his season stats, he played 56 games. He averaged 20 points, 3 rebounds, and 10 assists. So a 20-10 and basically 4 guy. He followed that season up, 20 points, 10 rebounds. 10 assists and 3 rebounds, almost 4 a game. Another 20 and 10, and he led the league in assists that year. And then this season, he was 18 and 9, basically. And so to me, I don't see how he can be considered overrated when once he got to Indiana, he basically took a step above what he was previously doing when he was in Sacramento. And
Yeah.
again, he's only in year 5. And what this like he's already been to a conference finals, I believe.
Did they get to the conference finals?
I want to say yes. I want to say last year, not last year. Well, I think it was that first year. Let's see. I believe they did.
I think they did. I think they ended up beating the Knicks, and
yeah,
the Knicks got hurt, and I think they
because they
ended
got
up
hurt.
getting
Yeah,
They got it. I believe that. I believe that. But what you get to, like you said, when he got to Indiana, he like you said, he was able to ascend to show his full capabilities of who he really was. But what I would like to ask you, who would you think is the most overrated? Who would you think?
James
who would
Harden.
you
James Harden.
at this point?
Yeah.
Why? What are you rating him at this point? Because you're just a fool. Not you. You're just a fool if you're rating him anything other than what he,
But to me, see, to me is even where I think some people are rating him, I think he has underperformed that. Because my thing is, I'm not saying that. Matter of fact, I will. I think he's overrated because when you need him the most, he disappears.
Yeah, I mean that's his track record.
And so,
and
so to me, still kind of having that expectations of like people still going after him and doing certain things. That's when, to me, I still think that he's being overrated. And then if we want to kind of like pivot somewhere, like to me, a lot of it is like the overrated is like people who are still kind of like living off of their names, because like Paul George and stuff like that. But Paul George been getting his back kicked in too because he ain't been doing nothing either. But to me, I think James Harden, because where he's like, even where he's gone in like previous years, again, he still comes up small when you need him the most. And he was, former MVP, player. He was in the conversation with, D Wade as who's, who's that 2 guard and this and that. Nah, player. To me, that's overrated. And like we've said, like we've had these conversations at different points in the pod. Also, so at certain, like, just because someone may be like I'm calling you overrated doesn't necessarily mean I'm saying you trash or that you like you basically just complete ass. Because at certain points in times, I've called another like people's GOAT. I can feel he may be overrated at times because of certain things that they did. I'm not going to get into the names because no need to derail us on this conversation. But that doesn't mean to me you're not great. I just think people overrate certain accomplishments that you have and certain like where they put you in certain hierarchies based off of just personal beliefs of certain things and how I view it. But I understand that people don't share my viewpoint. So that's why, to me, in a sense, I'm saying James Harden, because, hey, from what I see, where people kind of like hold you and where they've held you, because I'm not even saying just based off of this year. I say that also in past years, but this is the first time that we're getting like the clutch player of the year, the overrated player of the year, kind of stuff like that. So that's why now this is a conversation. But I've always thought he was overrated because when you need him the most, he don't show up. And I feel like most people would agree. That's kind of one of the things that you would call overrated. That's why people called LeBron. That's why people call LeBron overrated.
That's why, I mean, if you put that caveat on it, then I get where you're going. You know what I'm saying? Once again, like I said, I understand why. Like I understand why Haliburton got it. This is funny. He didn't know when his birthday was.
Birthday only happened once a year.
Once we said, I said the day. I said Friday, 7:00. You knew the date. You knew you had something planned. You knew everything. But once again, all you wanted to do was fully commit to a troll. And once the heat get turned up, now you don't want to step into the kitchen. This is a duck, bro. Like you said, you could have easily said, "Hey, look, I'm not available. Let's set up something different." You know what I'm saying?
I smell. I smell.
Wait,
I smell.
no, it's that. Like we try to derail this joint, but like I get it. Like they've said, like they've tried to overrate, Trae Young. They tried to let's say they tried to say,
But and
Jason Tatum.
I also don't agree with Trae Young also, because Trae Young, look who he's been playing with, and say what you want, he made it to a conference finals also. And even coming out of the draft, we talked about it. I wasn't never the biggest fan of Trae Young, because I was like, hey, you want to play like Steph, but you're not Steph, kind of thing. And it's just like you're a small guard who don't defend. But again, he's made it to a conference finals, and there's a lot of people who haven't. And so to me, there's some of that. What are the expectations that people have of you versus what you have done? And so to me, that's when it comes to like, how can you be overrated when you've done certain things that probably people that are calling you overrated haven't done?
And that's where I get to the conversation when I look at it at a, like, not say a holistic approach, because like say once again, like people get like, Tatum is overrated, it ain't his team. It's like, bro, some of the stuff. The problem with y'all had with Tatum is y'all tried to crown him too premature,
way before he should have been.
And then when he didn't reach those highly touted expectations that you set for him at the timely rate that you set him, now all of a sudden you try to backpedal and vilify him and all this stuff. It's like, okay, man, like some of this stuff, like okay, boom, the way he played last game, tear his ass up, pause. You know what I'm saying? But
definitely pause.
Yeah, but other than that, it's like, all right, bro, come on, man, y'all, we're going too far with some of these things, some of these bold statements, But like I said, I understand. Like I said, do I think Haliburton is overrated? No, I can understand how the players feel, because when he's a highly touted player, highly polarized player, an all-star, one of them won, and we don't like your ass.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, overrated, bro. Overrated.
For sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
If that's the case, it should be Dylan Brooks, but hey.
But we don't rate. They don't. When you think about the player, they don't rate him. Feel what I'm saying? They ain't rating him like he good. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Very true.
You feel what I'm saying?
He just overrates. Like, he overrates himself. How about that?
Yeah. So it's like that award. We do need to see the list of. We probably could if we pull it up of the the rankings. But we need a criteria. And just like all these other awards, right? We really do need we need a criteria. Like we need to understand, like what are we doing?
And that's the problem, because we don't have we still don't have a criteria for the MVP award. So there's that. We used to.
What was the used to?
Okay, you know what? Never mind. Because I was gonna say it was never mind. I'm yeah. But
because your man's messed it up. You talking about something used to. Your man's messed it up.
No, he didn't. He was the most valuable player on one of the best teams in the league.
There you go. See? So ain't no what it used to. Don't give me what it used to be then.
Yeah.
Because if that's the criteria that you think that it is, then all right, then we got the criteria.
Okay. That's been my criteria though. Even before him.
All right.
To me, I'm always about value.
I ain't know you did.
Hey,
bro, it's bro.
I was about to say you probably would have hated me then. that was Cincinnati, AJ. Big T-shirts and the red Cincinnati Reds hat, the black one with the red bill.
Well, before we move on to the playoffs, because we do have some games that's going on. Have a game that's going on right now.
Look, I wasn't even finna move on to the playoffs, but I guess we do have to kind of talk about it.
Yeah, we got to get that. But we had a trade. We had to trade, my brother.
Yeah, see, there we go. That's what I was about to get to.
Yeah, let's get to it, man. George Pickens, NFL young boy, was traded to the Cowboys, and man,
how you feel? First off, how you feeling?
I feel good, bro. And the reason why I feel good is, like I said, you ask the front office to do some of the things that you want that you want. Be like, hey, listen, bro, we need to upgrade wide receiver 2. You need to figure out how to upgrade wide receiver 2. Their plan was to go into the draft and try to upgrade wide receiver 2. It didn't fall their way, so they quickly pivoted and found an alternative route. And the alternative route that they went to was it could possibly be the better route. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it could possibly be the best option for you all, because now you know that you have an NFL ready player with a high level talent in George Pickens. And can I just say, I would like to commend your front office for not reaching in the draft for a wide receiver and still going out and making something happen. Because a lot of times you may see teams do that where it's like, hey, we need this position, and then they draft a linebacker in the second round. And so y'all didn't do that and said, you know what? Hey, we feel like we got the best players available. We had a really good draft because we came on here and said, hey, y'all one of the ones that had a really good draft. And then think about it like this. Just think about y'all draft haul and add George Pickens into y'all draft haul. Yeah. That like, to me, it's the same way that we talk about, like, oh, with AJ Brown when they traded the first round pick. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, yeah, but you got AJ Brown with your draft, your draft class. And so now you have to look at it in that perspective. And so to me, this makes even more sense. And like I said, I really have to commend your front office for sticking to a plan and executing it. What I did want to ask you is, the reports came out that you guys started looking at Rashad Bateman first. We actually had a conversation about, Rashad Bateman during last season, but because it was Rashad Bateman, I believe, versus Jalen Tolbert, who was better, if I'm not mistaken.
I sit that to you. Yeah. I started that conversation.
Yes. Yeah. And so we ended up having that conversation. But how, like, hearing that information, I understand, I think the talks may have stalled, so it wasn't anything that your front office did. But how do you feel having George Pickens over Rashad Bateman?
Well, obviously it's the better player. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna always be like, hey, we got the better player. You're gonna always lean on that side. But I would feel the same. I would feel the same exact way if we would have got Bateman. It was more so of seeing the plan. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we've been burned. The Cowboys in particular have been burned when they deviate from their board and do other things, in the draft. Like, prime example, Micah Parsons wasn't their ideal pick.
It was Patrick Surtain, if I'm not mistaken, right?
And J.C. Horn. And J.C. Horn. Even though Micah was rated higher on their board than both of them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So the draft guys did him a favor on that one, but they were ready to deviate from their board. And the past 2 years, like you say, drafting a Mozzie, drafting a Luke Schoolmaker, drafting a Tyler Guyton, doing things like that. It's like, okay, we are really drafted for needs, right? And then there, were they really the highest players on your board at that point? Did you really need to go there? You know what I'm saying? So wanting, like, publicly saying we were going to draft Ted McMillan if he was there, knowing that you had a large gap, pause if necessary, between Ted and whoever they had at the next wide receiver. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether it was a Buka, whether it was Matthew Golden. You knew it was a large gap between those players. So sticking with your boy, I believe that they probably was. I think they was ready to get Luther Burden as well.
Yeah.
The way he was about to fall, but the Bears sniped him, and so like I said, I think that their plan was to draft a wide receiver because it made way more business sense to draft a wide receiver, from in that aspect. But it didn't happen like that. So to get a Pickens, knowing that he was available, knowing he was available is a little bit too strong. Pause.
Making the call and trying.
Because the writing was on the wall the moment that they traded for DK and paid DK. But it was still an opportunity. They could have paid both. Because
And
like I
that's
said,
what
they're going to eventually have a quarterback on a rookie deal. They could have paid both, so they
right. They
didn't
could
have to do this.
right. They definitely could have paid both. But I think one of the things that made it so obvious to you and I that George Pickens was going to be out the door is because DK is a better George Pickens. You know what I mean? They literally do the same thing. And so like having them like trading for DK and immediately paying him. And of course, you have like I ain't saying you have to, but you basically kind of have to pay for him because you traded for him. So you're gonna trade him, give him his money, and so doing that and then you're gonna basically have to pay the same receiver probably the same amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not as good as the receiver that you just paid who does the same exact thing. To me, that's when the writing was on the wall that I felt that George Pickens was on the way out, and we'll have one of our guys join us, at a later date to actually talk about it. But that's one of the things that kind of just stood out to me that I felt that he was going to be gone because I think that you needed to do some things to give some variety to the room that you have. And so that's all I'm saying. And we're just like the rumors were already there. The smoke was already, kind of, brewing. It was only a matter of time in my eyes that George Pickens was going to be gone because of, just some of the things that we've heard, the rumors, and eventually the rumors call legs. It's crazy that it ended up happening to the Cowboys because that was one thing that we weren't necessarily expecting. Yeah, and I think once we saw the Packers draft a wide receiver, hey, anything might have been on the table.
And for them to draft a wide receiver in the first round, and they ain't
Yeah.
done that to Javon Walker. I do want to say that I want to reiterate this point. They didn't have to do this. Like
They didn't have to.
I think they got the compensation that they wanted, and that's fine. Cool. I do think DK and Pickens complement each other well. If they could ever find an offense to complement them well, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
if you could ever find a damn, I mean, if Arthur Smith could have ran the exact offense that he ran in Tennessee with those two wide receivers, it could have worked. Like, you mean to tell me that DK couldn't be AJ Brown or Pickens couldn't be AJ Brown and the other one couldn't been what was the dude name?
From Western Michigan.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? I just had his name because we were talking about it. But
like you said, you mean to tell me they couldn't be that? So it's like, okay, and then once again, eventually you're going to draft a wide receiver. Corey Davis. Thank you.
Corey Davis. Yes, Corey Davis.
See, this is why the Fords is here. Thank you. You mean to tell me that DK and Pickens couldn't do that? Couldn't be that tandem? You know what I'm saying?
They definitely could have been, but I just think that Corey Davis was almost damn near a decoy in that offense.
Okay.
And I don't think that, like, again, I think
Miss King, they scores 34-32. What are you talking about?
Nah, because the Cavs was up pretty decent.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
The Cavs was up pretty decent. But what I was gonna say is I think them like I said before, DK and George Pickens being the kind of like the same receiver, basically their route tree is pretty much the same.
Don't get me wrong. Their route tree ass.
And so that's one of the things that they don't have that, be like, one of these receivers could be AJ Brown. Because I'm not saying either one of them is Corey Davis, but I'm saying both of them got to kind of play that Corey Davis role because you don't have the AJ Brown role. You know what I'm saying?
But AJ Brown ain't like that. He ain't the route runner. Like
I'm not saying he the route runner, but the routes that these two dudes run, hey, it's 9 route, stop route.
Yeah.
I
just feel that I think that they had an opportunity. They didn't have to. we gonna stop talking about the Steelers because we're gonna have an opportunity to talk about the Steelers from their perspective in the near future. But I just wanted to reiterate they didn't have to do this. Now I'm happy that they did do this because my team is the recipient. Like I said, the team desperately needed a wide receiver too. Like to say the thing about Brandon Cooks was he was supposed to come in to replace Amari. Amari was never supposed to be traded. You know what I'm saying? Mike McCarthy could never figure out how to actually utilize Brandon Cooks for some reason. I mean, everybody else in the league figured out. He was the Rudy Gay of the wide receivers, and everybody else figured out how to utilize him except Mike McCarthy. You know what I'm saying? So you get to the aspect of, you know what? I'm gonna tell you the part that pissed me off the most was, oh, Dak don't have no excuses now. And it's like, okay, bro. It's like at some point, bro, we got to elevate how we think about some of these things, bro. Like, I mean to tell me, so all the playoff losses that the Cowboys had just been Dak's fault, huh? I feel you. It's just been Dak's fault, right? We watching the same game.
My thing is, it's crazy who we reserve actual excuses for. Because to me, what do you mean? Oh, Dak don't have no more excuses now. I'm sorry. I haven't heard not one of y'all ever say Dak was a top 3, top 5 quarterback in the league. So what you mean he don't have no excuses no more? Dak was a 4th round pick. Dak has overachieved already. But hey,
stay right. No, please stay right there. Stay right there. Remember, we just talked about Haliburton. You was talking about overrated and how they're viewed.
Mm-hmm.
So don't tell me he got excuses when you keep telling me he trash anyway. You keep telling me that he's trash. So don't make it seem like, oh, well, you know, what's the excuse? You saying he's trash to begin with.
Because here's my thing. How does Dak have higher expectations for what he needs to do than Baker Mayfield?
Come on now. We can just stop there. It's plenty more. We can keep going.
Like, you feel me? It's his contract, but that's the Jones fault.
That's a true statement.
But what I can say is, how can you say Dak hasn't earned his contract? Because again, just like we said before, it's the market. We've talked to people about this. It's like I believe we talked to Jalen about this. It's the market, and it's also because again, Derek Carr at one point got paid, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
What has Derek Carr done that Dak hasn't eclipsed?
No, he ain't done nothing. Like,
but no one talks about Derek Carr. Derek Carr just gets to live like, and here's my thing. Remember what I always tell you? Like, Matthew Stafford was the least scrutinized #1 pick ever.
Mm-hmm.
He got to get paid in Detroit, but it was just always, oh, it's Detroit, it's Detroit. Yeah. They're having fun. They're going 9-8 and losing in the playoffs. Detroit ain't never experienced that ever. But he went #1 overall. But y'all put, all these expectations on Joe Burrow, who went to a franchise that gets scrutinized just like the Lions got.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, a lot of people pick and choose because throughout Matthew Stafford's career, in the first couple years, Joe Burrow got more criticism than he ever got, and people call him overrated. People say, "Oh, Justin Herbert's still better than him." Throughout Matthew Stafford's career as a #1 overall pick, I never heard anybody say, "Oh, he's a top 3 quarterback."
Not one time. But the thing about like Curtis said it's Jones' fault. And the contract does play a part.
But they also like that storyline.
We know what he's doing. We know how he's doing. They weaponize this as well. So it's a gift. It's a gift. Not to say it's a gift and a curse, but they're doing the same thing that the fans are doing. The fans see the big old contract. They were like, you know what? He making $60 million. He need to be doing this, and they completely ignore the reason why that number got to that number. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he was a $40 million quarterback when they could have got him for 30.
Yeah.
When they could have overpaid for 35 at the time if they'd done their due diligence and doing it early. You know what I'm saying? But he had to be, he's the $40 million contract, $40 million.
We'll let this play out. We'll let this play out. We'll let this play
Okay.
out.
And
All
then,
right.
then the reason, and we see why he's come on, bro. We see why he got 60. Bro, because immediately we see how these teams are acting to get ass quarterbacks.
Sam Darnold, all like Kirk Cousins.
Getting them again.
Y'all can't. And here's my thing. Y'all can't tell me, it's that contract, but we sit here and watch Kirk Cousins be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in football history.
I mean,
in career earnings. Y'all can't tell me this. And then we seen Sam Bradford do what he did.
I think I back to what my original thing was about. We don't have no excuses now. I'm like, do we think about who we played in the playoffs? Every time that we played a team in the playoff, outside from the Packers game, the Packers game was totally ass. Like everything that you wanted to say about the Cowboys, they deserve anything. So if you want to blame whoever you want to blame, everybody get the smoke for that. That was that was nasty. So
who's perfect in the playoffs? Who's perfect in the playoffs?
But outside of that game, bro, the teams that they've lost to went to the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl. They ain't losing the bums. These dudes, they ain't had no Motor City Miracle. You know what I'm saying? The Miracle in the Meadowlands. There ain't no plays like this. It says some lucked up stuff that happened, stuff like that. I get it. Dad's caught it. They ain't had nothing to do with that. But I'm just saying, the teams that they've lost to went to the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That got to mean something.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that got to mean something. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, it ain't like they're getting blown out. You think you mean to tell me, remember both times that we lost to the 49ers, those were one possession games? The way they talk about those games is like we was, like we just got demolished off the rip. Like, what are we really doing here? That's why it's like it's weird. Like I was playing that game for a long time. Like I'm giving these, the same energy Dave was giving us. And it's like I don't even do that no more, bro. It's like it's worthless.
It doesn't make sense because you're fighting a hopeless battle, because anything that you say, even like any point that you make, it could just get ignored and be like, oh well, what about this? Oh well, what about that? Oh well, what about this? And that's where it really becomes, extremely frustrating, because one of the things that like I've heard, it was like, oh, such and such, like, talk to me when Dak makes it to a conference championship game. And it's like,
bruh,
what, like, excuse me? How many, like,
bruh,
so, like, and I hate to do it because I've been comparing, but Lamar Jackson, ain't nobody got to talk to you about, oh, when has he gone to a conference championship game? People look at him as a top 2-3 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, you definitely. He in that elite category, so you ain't getting far.
So it's like, and when we talk about it's the contract, he making money too.
My thing about it, Dak don't have no excuses now, right? You look at this team, so it had to be all or nothing with the Cowboys. So Pickens, you mean to tell me Pickens is so good, and I'm not saying he's not bad, but Pickens is so good that all of a sudden that we Super Bowl contenders now?
Because my thing is defense. The defense was top 3 last year or something like that. Y'all had a top 5 defense or something last year.
Let me know if we did.
Because I don't think so. So it's not like, oh, Dak has been underachieving on like and under delivering on his end. You can't tell me that.
It's like, okay, it's like, once again, it got to be all or nothing. Like we sit here in the group, we sit here on Twitter, we sit here on every other social media network, and we see the thing, right? Yes, baby. It is scary.
And so, but and this is one of the.
I'm sorry. We sit here. Being a father, dog. Shut up. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Oh, Mother's
Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Well, You mean to tell me? Like I said, I seen other teams, make a move. You know what I'm saying? I see him in the group. I see it on Twitter, social media, IG, it's all that, and they just evaluate the move. Oh, this is a good move. Oh, I like this move. This is it. I like how they'll do it in this offense. Or I'm interested to see how this will work in the offense. Even, what I'm saying? It's always just that. It's just what it is for that move. Anything the damn Cowboys do, now all of a sudden it's just to be, they're gonna make it to the Super Bowl. Oh, NFC Championship. You know what I'm saying? Bro, we traded for Kenneth Murray, and all of a sudden they act like Kenneth Murray was Ray Lewis. They he go to the Super Bowl to get with Kenneth Murray. Motherfucker, we need a linebacker.
Yeah. So what you think we're supposed to do? Like
can we just go get a linebacker? Like, can that just be the move? You know what I'm saying?
And my thing is, it's like every other team that makes a move, it isn't like, oh, they don't have an excuse now. They don't have an excuse now. They don't have an excuse now. It's like, all right, that's what you're supposed to do in football. When you have a need, you address that motherfucker. And so I think that's the most frustrating part, because a lot of other teams can do certain things and make certain moves, and it's not, we never hear, oh, this player has no excuse now. Like, they still somehow find a way to make an excuse. And I think that's where this whole part is, the plus he's playing for the Cowboys part really comes into effect, because again, it's the same thing. It's the same thing we see with LeBron. Like, whatever you can do to make a topic out of, this team or this certain player, do it, because that's going to get people going.
Yeah.
Shit, we accidentally went viral just because we was talking about LeBron's son one time. Like, you get what I'm saying? So it's just like, when you start, like, when these, when it comes, like, we have gone past the days of Stuart Scott and our Sports Center. You know what I mean? We're in the age of engagement, content over everything, getting the most eyes, clicks, and impressions. And so those are the things that get the impressions, because now you can say things on either side of the spectrum, and what's going to take off. You can be like, oh, with this move, the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders. Oh, you can clip that up. Such and such thinks the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders. Oh, with this move, Dak still ain't going to get it done. Oh, guess what? Now, the people who support Dak gonna chime in and be like, nah, like y'all been hating on Dak too much. And then you got the Dak detractors, when whole time, this shit ain't even about Dak. This is bigger than Nino Brown, baby. Like we just got to look at, like, how many times, like so many great players go throughout their career, and they don't even get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it's like, oh, this is the problem, and that's where we go wrong.
But before we move on from the Pickens thing, I think it works out best for everybody, because he's not interested in trying to sign the contract right now. He's trying to maximize his value, and
So
he's prepared. So he's prepared to ball out or be on his best behavior and everything, so he can secure the bag. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, that means that Cowboys can either franchise him, they can either extend him, they can even just let him walk, and it benefits the team completely, because if they just let him walk and he gets paid from somebody, they get a compensatory pick. You know,
and you basically get the third rounder you get back, and you basically lost the fifth and got a six back.
You can put it about you just swap picks. You know what I'm saying? So it's a win-win for somebody. So the fact that think about it. If he balls out and he gets paid from anybody, from whoever, something positive had to go down, right?
Yeah.
All right.
If he don't, you might be able to get him for cheap. And then who knows? He might ball out the year after.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a win-win for somebody. I would hope, and we was this is probably more Dallas duo oriented, but I will hope that they would hurry up and get a Micah done. I will hope that they would hurry up and get a Tyler Smith done. So you can have two players that's fighting for that franchise tag. Like, I'm cool with franchise tagging DeRon Bland next year and hoping to get a deal done with him next year. I'm hoping to, if Pickens, you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping we're not getting a discount, so because he has David Mulugeta as his agent. So I'm hoping that he balls out.
I know.
We know.
Discount.
We know. It's out the
way.
Love
don't live here anymore.
So I'm actually hoping at the best possible outcome that he balls that he can get the most money that he can possibly get. And if we so happen to pay it, hey, that means everything went right. If he so happens to get paid, that means we get a pick back. So it's a win-win in that situation. And that's why I just wanted people to just look at it like that. Just look at can we talk about the fit? Can we just talk about the football aspect? Did it have to go all the way? Oh, they ain't went to the Super Bowl. Well, we won't win in the Super Bowl anyway. Newsflash. I'm sorry.
How many teams don't win the Super Bowl? And that's my whole thing.
Don't
get me started on that.
But we've been in here and we've said, oh, they ain't got no excuse now after certain teams make a move. But the reason why we say that because those teams were contenders, like real contenders. Like if the Bills had made this move, I guarantee you would have said, "Hey, look, Josh ain't got no excuse now."
But you know why? Because people have been telling me he's the greatest quarterback ever. Like, so again, when he's like, people don't spend every day calling him overrated. People say like, "Oh, he's the best quarterback ever," when he been living off of a 13-second loss for who knows how long, and it's just like, okay, but so that's what it means. Where it's like, okay. Like you don't have no more excuses because you're getting the things that you need, right?
Yeah,
but,
I would just
and that's even still more so tongue in cheek because guess what? Should be happening. Your whole defensive secondary might fuck around and get injured and stuff like that. And that's how people
like it did, Bills, right? Like
you see what I'm saying? So that's what I mean when it's just like, oh, like you ain't got no excuse now, but we still find a way to give you an excuse. So now again, like I said, but now everybody got all these high expectations on a 4th round pick. But you know what's so crazy? The undrafted quarterback that preceded him had these high expectations, but nobody else. I ain't never heard nobody say, "Oh, Brock Purdy, he overrated." But Brock Purdy got to a Super Bowl, right? But in the same system that Jimmy Garoppolo made it to a Super Bowl, right? But hey, I bet you put Dak in that system.
They'd have won twice.
Yeah, because situations matter. I always said if Zach Taylor was the coach of the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes
would be chicks, I tell you.
Would be chicks, I tell you. But
I want to ask this question to Curtis because he's still a fan that's in the building. If he's still here, what are we doing? Because he tried to slide it in and say, "Pause." He tried to say that they're rebuilding. Now that's fine. Now I know the Steelers, the front office, and they're not going to. No team is technically ever going to say, "Hey, we are rebuilding." You know what I'm saying? But the moves that they making, it still don't scream rebuilding because you're about to bring Aaron Rodgers back in this situation. So
because if you were rebuilding, you would just say, "Hey, let's see what the hell we got in Will Howard."
Let's see what we got at Mason Rudolph and stuff like that. Like, can we play the ball control offense that we've been trying to play for the longest and we get to the playoffs again?
Look. If you were rebuilding, you wouldn't have traded for DK Metcalf.
So we can't let y'all get that off because
I do not want to hear it.
We know what they're trying to do, and it's the same cycle. I'm not, like I said, I'm not y'all enemy. I get it. AJ, my man's. I'm down with AJ. I ride with AJ, but I ain't y'all enemy. So stop associating me with some of the stuff that AJ, how AJ feel about y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, but y'all trying to put the breadcrumbs down. We've rebuilded so we could be trash. So they can have one of those bad seasons and we can just let them go lose in peace, right? Oh, but then all of a sudden they go 9-8 And then
Oh, y'all picked us to finish last in the division.
You know, all the
Nah.
pundits was against us. All the pundits was against us. And
Because
you
half
know,
the time-
Tomlin never had a losing season and all that. And and
half
oh,
the
we
time-
made it again. And then we lose the
They
playoffs.
don't-
And then
half the time they don't be believing. And half the time they be mad at the way that their season turned out, but they just got that. But Tomlin never had a losing season to fall back on at the end of the year. But again,
the funny
like
thing,
don't be mad at us when we say, "Oh, this is like y'all didn't think y'all had a good team either, but y'all made it to 9-8." But that's why y'all in this never-ending cycle, because y'all not. When we say y'all not going to be good, we don't mean like I said, we've never said you're going to bottom out and go, 2-17. We're just saying like, hey, this ain't a Steelers roster. This ain't the Steelers.
funny thing about it, like I say, funny thing about it is it's natural how they react, how they come together like Voltron and that, because it's cool. Like you said, I can I can talk about Jerry Jones. You better not be talking about Jerry Jones. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we could throw stones at our house, but like I said, once again, you shouldn't be making these jokes. So I get how they come together, and I get it as a fan base, and I get it. The fan base come together as one certain times, and they do that. The thing about it is they have an opportunity to they got an opportunity to fix this. There's wide receivers out there that they can go get other than Alan Lazard when Aaron Rodgers come. But like once they actually officially sign him,
you mean Randall Cobb?
Once they officially signed him, I'm gonna tell y'all how I really feel about this. You know what I'm saying? And how y'all should be ashamed of yourselves the way y'all been acting. But I'm gonna just wait. Till it's official.
Oh yeah, I got some. I got some words too.
They got an opportunity to fix this. Like I said, I get it. Pickens, you sad about Pickens. And, you can't just go up. Ain't no Pickens up the street. But you can go get somebody else. Like, they can go get an Amari. You know what I'm saying? They go get a Keenan Allen.
And to me, that actually makes sense to go get an Amari, because guess what?
Or Keenan Allen.
Because they complement what DK can do.
Exactly. So they can fix this and then have the same exact season that they was going to have anyway. So
8-9.
And we like I said before we move, I told here this before, we stuck in the middle, not good enough to win the Super Bowl, not bad enough to tank. It's going to take a drastic move, and I think they're waiting the next year. The funny thing they always say during draft season, oh, Jerry Jones ready to make a splash.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can say Khan is ready to make a splash next year. The draft is in Pittsburgh. They got all these picks. They got the opportunity to move up in the draft and go get a guy. You know what I'm saying?
They should have just just go trade for DJ Uiagalelei.
Wow.
And tank.
They're never going to be. They're not. They're not going to. No.
All right. Let Will Howard start. Here's my thing,
bro.
Don't bring Aaron. Like, you do not need to bring Aaron Rodgers in.
Just wait, bro. We gonna save it, dog.
All right, we'll save it.
Because we not already hit the tea leaves on how we don't like the idea. So there's no need to, there's no need. Let's talk about it till it's official. And once it's official, we can tell them about themselves the way.
Because that's the problem. Because why it ain't official yet?
Waiting on a crackhead. Okay. NBA playoffs right now.
TV.
I mean, you know that. Right now, the Cavs is beating the brakes off. You know what I'm saying? The Pacers right now, 53-38.
Damn. So what? The Pacers ain't scored in what, 20 minutes?
They just scored. It's 40 now. But yeah, I'm about to say they definitely been on a drought.
I say the last time you said that it was what, 38-34?
I think this was the only game that I didn't say anything about in the group. I think the game. Matter of fact, the reason why I didn't say, I think they played on Sunday, and I started doing this thing because we were supposed to record on Sunday as well. But I started talking about the other games during the month, so I left this game out. So let's give out our take. Now I get it. The Cavs are down 0-2 right now, and it's no way we can.
They got their players back today, and we're seeing the outcome.
But no, we are not seeing the outcome yet because, like I said, we have seen some teams, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
blow some leads. So let's talk about it. I got a call right quick. So go ahead and talk about
So
this.
so we've seen some teams blow some leads, and we've seen some players act like some thoughts. Um, talking to you, Boston. But I'll say I even though the Cavs were playing shorthanded in the first two games, um, I will say the Pacers did what they were supposed to do. And now that the Cavs got their guys back, they're doing what they're supposed to do. So the series isn't over, but it's good to see. It's definitely good to see the Pacers, take a lead. And now, like I said, we just have a series, and we'll see what can happen. And I don't think that the Cavs can win four straight, even with all of their players back. The Pacers have shown that they're gonna be feisty. They gonna make it tough on you, and they're gonna play. So I just think it's a matter of adjustment. So I think that this could be one of them series that we might this could go down to 7 games with 10 seconds left kind of series. Now that people, that the Cavs are getting healthy and getting their guys back. Like I said, I don't ever want to see a team lose because they're not healthy. I don't want to see a team, go down healthy. I'm even one of those fans where I don't want my team to win. Not I don't want to. I don't like to see my team win against a team that is, less than
Hobble.
100%.
Yeah.
So I do think that, like I said, the Pacers are one of those teams. They're going to always be feisty, so they could even get blown out this game. And I still think it's going to go 7 because I just don't see it being a case where the Cavs just run off 4 straight now, even with them being, the number 1 seed. I think that, like I said, the Pacers are good enough to still make this tough, and they do have that upper hand being able to get those 2 wins.
I just think the
while they
Cavs.
wobble.
I don't think the Cavs got to. They don't need to take we got to get 4
Yeah,
in a row approach. They need to take it one game at a time. Like I said, they need to get this win and seal this victory, and maybe be able to sit some of these people in the fourth. You know what I'm saying?
right. And so, yeah, I think that this is going to be a really great series. And so far, this has been one of them playoffs where it's just like nobody can rest on their, just like their laurels. Because, hey, Boston, the Knicks ain't coming to play around, dog.
And I've been waiting for Dane. And I'm a
Dane still scoring, bro. He ain't Dane is not ready. He ain't ready to commit, man.
and that's why I left him alone. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave him alone because, like I said, he's still waiting for the worst to happen. But already, my prediction is already came to fruition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said it was gonna be a tough ass 6. You know what I'm saying? And Boston was gonna win. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, for them to lose the way they lost both of those games,
Yeah.
it's
And they was up.
it's by 20 in both of the games. Like, that's troubling, bro. Like, they ain't really the mentally toughest team, that had this in their head.
And this is one of those reasons where I always say I hate when they say, "Oh, they have they have that playoff experience and this and that." And it's just like, "Hey, dog, just because you've been in the playoffs don't always mean something." You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, so listen to me.
I'm listening.
Because sometimes, like I said, don't always mean something because we've seen these young teams come in and they overachieve because guess what? This is like, hey, they just come in the hoop. They're coming with house money because guess what? The Knicks couldn't lose last series, but this series they playing with house money because y'all the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all the defended champions. Y'all the ones that got the trophies and the rings and stuff like that. We just coming in here. We coming to hoop. Because if we win, y'all will get talked about as this season being a failure.
Yeah.
Not us. So as my guy, so
Uh,
no,
uh,
hear me out. The
oh,
reason why I say they're gonna get the Celtics will get talked about as a failure and the Knicks won't is because the the Celtics have that championship pedigree. They're coming, they're supposed to, they were looked at as one of the favorites coming back. And even then, it's like, all right, the Cavs came and got the number one seed. Y'all got Jason Tatum, Jalen. You basically brought your team back from the championship. You ran it back. So it's like the Knicks, we ain't seen the Knicks here since when? Carmelo?
last season.
No. I'm saying that with this much promise, where you think that they could.
But they made their whole move for the Celtics. Like they went to go get Cat for the Celtics to try to get them over the hump. And for them to not be a good team all year, like those contending teams, they was like 0-8.
Yeah, but
something like that. Like
what
that's
I'm saying
nasty,
is
bro.
You made this move to try and get over the hump, but don't nobody look at you making you getting a move for Cat, and it's like, oh, you're a championship contender. You're at least you listen to me. The Celtics were a championship contender. You're making moves to try and elevate yourself into the Eastern Conference conversation. That's what I'm saying. So losing to the Celtics, people aren't going to look at you like this season is a failure. You can still you can come back and be like, oh, we can run this back. Say the Knicks had they didn't win the first two games and say the series was tied and the Knicks ended up losing this series in 6. No one's going to say that this was a failure.
I completely disagree, bro. No, and the reason why I disagree because, like I said, we talk about contending teams, and we talk about the contending teams, and we talk about expectation. Now, I get it how you are viewing it, and I'm not saying you are wrong. I get you are viewing it from a holistic standpoint of a realistic aspect of the Celtics are championship or bust. These other teams that we might have deemed contenders, still try to get to this level. So I get what you're saying. I'm not saying you're wrong.
And that's why I'm not trying to cut you off, but that's what I mean when I say no. You lost to a championship or a bust team when you're not a championship or a bust team. You lose to the Pistons, that's when they're gonna look at you as a failure. So look at it like this. So say Cleveland comes back and they win, and it's the Knicks and the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. You made this move to get Cat to beat the Celtics, right? To get over that hump. So you lose to the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Is that a failure? Because you got over that hump.
If you lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, I wouldn't view getting to the Eastern Conference Finals is the bare minimum of their expectations that they had. So I wouldn't view it as if I would look at it this way. Okay, what are we missing? What are we lacking? Let's try to figure it out. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? I would look at it like that, and I think others would look unless they got swept. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, yeah.
And then now, let's say the Cavaliers don't come back, and the Knicks play the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they lose to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Is that a failure? Exactly. So again, because it's a failure because people look at it as this team ain't better than you, and you lost. People don't look at the Knicks and be like, "Oh, you're hands down better than the Celtics." That's why I say this isn't a failure. To me, I can look at it as we didn't achieve our goals, but as Giannis said, just because I didn't achieve my goals don't mean that it's a failure.
Like I said, I get what you're saying, but like I said, at the same time, some of these teams that had expectations coming into the season need to at least reach the minimum of those expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a reason why the Sixers got vilified all year, because they were supposed to, with the acquisition of PG, at least get out of the second round, at least get out of that's all we wanted. So For them to not do that, it's a complete failure. I get it. It's a complete failure because they didn't even make the playoffs. I get
Right.
it. It's totally different. But like I said, the reason why you make this move for Cat was supposed to ascend to the next level. And the fact in the regular season that you didn't beat none of these contending teams at all had people looking at you funny in the light. You know what I'm saying?
And for
But
sure,
that don't take away from them expectations that they had set for you. If you didn't get to this Eastern Conference Final, that's a failure.
But to me, that sets the table where people can look at you funny in the light. But again, when it comes to the playoffs, if you take it 6, it's like I can't be mad at that because this is the team that you set out to beat.
Yeah.
You were beat like you beat them some games, but you just didn't you couldn't get there. And sometimes it just happens. It happens. It's the playoffs.
They can't lose in 6 now. They cannot lose in 6 now because
then it's gonna look like no. I was saying like before.
I know now I was adding context to what you saying. They can't lose in 6 now.
Yeah, they can't lose in 6. Like
because then it's gonna look bad.
Right. To me, to be quite honest,
you can lose in 7.
You can lose in 7. People gonna kill you losing in 7 because it's like, oh, you had a 2-0 lead. But it's like, to me, how I look at it also is, bro, you was getting your ass kicked by 20 in both of them games. You wasn't really supposed to win neither one of them games. Like, but you battled back. So to me, that also proves to me that team is the better team. But y'all did what the fuck y'all was supposed to do. Y'all stayed true. And so yeah,
they lose it. Like I say, losing in 6 now. It's some stuff that's gonna
because again, that means you losing in 4 straight.
Yeah, you need to squeak up 1, like I said. But they play tomorrow, so we'll see what's going on in that series. Like I said, I mean, if they go up 3-0, man,
cancel Christmas.
It's gonna be some tough conversations in Boston then.
Yeah,
because once again, you can lose. They could have lost in the finals. You know what I'm saying? But you had to get back to the finals.
Yeah.
So, what's the other series in that? We got both. Okay, that's both on the east side. East. West side. Steph is gonna be out till game 6 at the earliest with a hamstring injury.
Hate to see it, but
definitely hate to see it, bro.
Yeah, hate to see it, but that's just a part of old age, man. Like
that's a part of
my neck been hurting for the last 8 weeks, and I don't know why.
It goes back to show that the front office did a disservice this entire time. It was Steph had to be playing like a Superman level just for this team to be in, stay afloat. Thank God they went and got Jimmy.
I was just about to say that you lucked up in being able to get Jimmy and that he was on the market,
and it allows Steph to play, normal. You know what I'm saying? He still had to play great in games and do what he had to do, but the brunt of this team,
freed him up to be able to kind of just do some of the things that he does, that he can do best at this point in his career.
And the reason why I bring that up is because we've seen this hamstring injury. It was the most routine hamstring injury we've ever seen. So that clearly showed, because we know Steph is in shape, clearly showed this wear and tear had got to him. That's all that is. Yeah, because you had him doing too much at this old ass age, and he shouldn't have had to been doing that.
Exactly. And I think that, that's when I say certain teams like we've talked about the difference that you and I have when it comes to either running the team back or don't just get comfortable. This is where they really messed up, just by trying to just run stuff back and just be like, oh, Steph got us. No, they
tried is what they did. They did try. So I'm not even going to I'm not going to go that hard on the pause just to say they did a disservice of that magnitude, because they did make an adjustment. They did make an attempt to do some things differently. It just didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Now the fact that it didn't work and it took them to the trade deadline to pivot, you know what I'm saying? So, and it just came back to bite them. But at the same time, I do think they still match up with this Timberwolves team, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. This Timberwolves team that's playing now is not the same Timberwolves team from the regular season.
For sure.
And I get it. We get this reminder every single year that playoff basketball is totally different. But it's just like, even still looking at them, it's like, how are y'all winning? Like, what are y'all doing? Like,
Yeah.
like Ant had a few Ant games that you were like, okay, Ant is one of them ones. He the man. He's done it. He's had a few. But they've also had a lot of games like, bro, how did I even win the game?
But then it's like, but that's kind of just goes to show, like, hey, dog, this playoff basketball is different. The bench is shortened, and those minutes increase, and defense gets a little bit, tighter. Now we game planning for just you.
Yeah.
We not just go like, we're not just coming out here like, hey, this is what we're gonna run, but this the second night of a back-to-back. We got to get back home and do this and that. Now we're game planning for you. And we just played a game where we game plan for you. So now we're about to make adjustments to our game plan from what we saw from the previous game plan. So that's what it comes down to. And don't get me wrong, Steve Kerr is not a terrible coach. So, like,
man, he's not a terrible coach, but man, he has some.
He has some blood. That's why I said he's not a terrible.
I know.
I'd say, yeah, you gotta give it to Steve Kerr. He's a great coach. No, he's not a terrible coach. So he's still going to be able to make some adjustments and identify certain things. And again, I can't remember who said it, but we've seen this year Anthony Edwards has turned into Klay Thompson, where he's shooting 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. And as we've seen, just like with the Celtics, sometimes that shit don't go down. And we've said it year after year after year about some of these Cinderella college basketball teams. You live by the 3, you die by the 3. When it don't go down, it look a lot different, and that's why they look a lot different.
I just think that they still have they have an opportunity to hold it down. Maybe hold it down till Steph can return and make it a make it a series. Because at the end of the day, they shouldn't have won game 1.
Yeah, and that the scary thing about that is if the Timberwolves allow Steph to get back, and this series is even close, they in trouble.
Yeah,
they're in big trouble.
So, but it was game 6 at the earliest. You know what I'm saying? So who's to say that he's gonna be ready for game 6? Who's to say he get in there in game 6 the next thing you know he re-aggravated? You know what I'm saying? Who's to say? Who knows? Hopefully he does return. That's what I wanted to see. You know what I'm saying? I think Jimmy got one in him.
And playoff, and like we say, playoff Jimmy, man. This might be one of them times where, hey, and that's why I say, if you allow them to get one and stay in this, like, y'all can be in trouble, dog.
You know what I'm saying? If they can continue to get a consistent Buddy Hield, I do think Jimmy has at least one in him to, hold it down, hold the fort down until Steph comes back. That could be the fan in me or Jimmy.
I was about to say, look, hey, if Jimmy and Buddy lock in at the same time and they have one of them games, hey, it's tough. It's tough.
We seen it in the play-in game. Jimmy turned up. We seen it in one of them games against the Rockets. He turned up. So I know I'm the Jimmy fan, but I ain't say nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if they just get one more of them while Steph is gone, this could be a long series. And that
but they got the same reports that we got. Timberwolves could be like, hey, look, he ain't coming back. We need to lock in.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that Gary Payton II is the one that's beating us. Post is beating us. Pushing Pete.
Paul Posluszny.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He the one that need to beat us. You know what I'm saying? They need to make it if they have that approach, then they can get this out of here. You know what I'm saying?
And you better do it.
That's the approach that they should have. if Ant is the stone cold killer that we think that he is, you know what I'm saying? They should be taking that approach. Like, hey, look, Steph ain't coming back. You know what I'm saying?
Just go ahead and start packing. Tell them pack
Now-
for Cancun.
Now, what gave me moving on now? What gave me pause when you said playoff experience was, you didn't try to minimize playoff experience, but you did try to throw a little wrench in playoff experience. Am I right with my assessment on how you said it?
I wasn't necessarily throwing a wrench in it, and I'm gonna explain to you with my counter argument as you go on. So I'm gonna let you go ahead, and then I'm gonna show you why I say it's a little bit different.
Because playoff experience was the reason why the Nuggets won game 1. They had no business winning that game. That championship experience pedigree that they got was the reason why they won game 1. They had no business winning that game. And if Chet makes his free throws, it's still a different conversation. But it shouldn't have got to that point before they even started the early foul stuff, that tit for tat fouling that they was doing. They had no business losing that game. And once again, they kept giving the Nuggets more and more. Oh, we got a chance. Oh, don't give up. Oh, let's go. Let's get it. And then game 2, they showed them that y'all ain't got no business playing with us, dog.
Right. But also, one of the reasons why I still kind of say it championship experience, because like you said, game 2, they show, oh, y'all ain't got no business playing with us. Also, game 1 was, hey, I'm the best player in the world, dog. So 42 and 22. So and like, because like we know in basketball, like we saw what Allen Iverson did that year against the Lakers. It was literally just Allen Iverson. So it's like sometimes like people said it about Allen Iverson, people said it about LeBron at certain times. Hey, if you're just the best player, you can get one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so to me, that wasn't necessarily playoff experience. It's again, like I said, hey, 42 and 22. I'm the best player in the world, dog.
I said he gonna put up a video game.
And again, with that happening, it took 2 missed field goals. Because again, to me, that ain't necessarily playoff like playoff experience versus not. That's just Chet. You a thought, bro. Yeah. Make one.
But before that was the icing on the cake, the cherry on top when he missed the free throw. Before that, when they went on that drought and the offense was just nasty. Yes, baby. She not sharing what, baby? Okay, go get it. She will share it now, okay?
Go snatch it. Headlock. Put her in a headlock. But
I'm so glad she can't hear you.
Because I know she can do it.
Yeah.
But so and this was about to be my counterpoint to the playoff experience thing, because like I said, hey, best player in the world, this and that. But the Celtics playoff experience, y'all still out here shooting threes when you could just be like going like you're playing like a team who's never been in the playoffs, because it's like you get this lead and it's just like you still just doing this and this, instead of thinking like, you know what? Let's get the easy buckets. And then it's like, instead of settling for these threes, like, oh shit, they cut our 20-point lead down to 10. Let's continue to do the same thing that we've always done. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's what I mean, where it's like, it ain't always necessarily just, because like the Celtics ain't just a playoff tested team. That's a championship pedigree team that they've been in the damn Eastern Conference Finals since Jalen and Jason got there damn near. So It's like, yo, y'all been doing this. Y'all been here every single season. So that's just my counterpoint to, sometimes like it ain't always what it cracked up to be, because playoff tested teams trick it too.
I now with the full picture of what you were saying, I get it, especially with using those teams as an example, because y'all got championship pedigree, and y'all doing 2 different things, like, you know what I'm saying. But I mean, this has been the most exciting playoffs in a while, and I don't,
But shit, just Jalen Brunson and goddamn Tyrese Haliburton alone have been making this shit interesting.
Yeah, this has been one of the ones, man. I'm glad. I hope it continues. Hope this same trend continues because we have been getting some good games, and the ratings are back.
Oh, look at them! Congrats, guys! Congrats.
We ran out of time, but I'm gonna talk about how the ratings is back too. How it's really their fault, but y'all will see some changes in the 3-man weave going forward. Y'all may see some new shows. Y'all may see some new guests. Y'all may see some things, but we're going to do some things differently. So just stay on the lookout. Hopefully, y'all continue to support. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. I'm Hill. That's AJ. Y'all the 4s. Some of y'all the Fab 5. And we have...
Yeah.